afternoon everybody, and welcome to this week's science lesson. We are continuing with our unit on uses of everyday materials, and it is Wednesday the 3rd of February 2021. Let's review our learning from that last lesson. Now, last lesson we looked at some of these items and explored them in detail. Now, what I'm going to do is I would like you to maybe have a go at identifying what some of these pictures are, what materials there are in the pictures, and I would like you to maybe think about some of the things that they may be used for. So one of the ways that you could do this is maybe by having a look around your home or your classroom now and see if there is anything made from these materials, okay? So pause the video and have a little go at that activity. Okay, I spotted that in the pictures we've got glass, metal, cardboard, sand, plastic, stone and paper. And looking around my home now, I can see that my window is made from glass. I can see that Ellis's toys are made from plastic. And I can also see that I have some toilet roll, and in the middle of my toilet roll there is a little cardboard tube, okay? So hopefully you were able to spot some of those things around your home, and hopefully you were able to identify some of the materials that were displayed in each of the pictures. Okay, what will we be learning in today's lesson? Well, in today's lesson, we're going to be identifying and comparing the suitability of everyday materials, and we're going to be working like scientists to use our observation and ideas to suggest answers to questions. Okay, children, key vocabulary time. Now, with today's key vocabulary, we're going to be looking at properties of materials. So each materials, or all materials rather, have different properties, okay? So for example, the properties of glass are that it is transparent. We can see through it, okay? That's a property of glass. If we look at stone, we know that stone is hard. If we look at Play-Doh, we know that Play-Doh is squishy, isn't it? It's soft and squishy. So properties just describe materials, if you like, okay? And we're going to pay close attention to these two properties that you can see now on your screen. Waterproof and water resistant. So there are two key words that we are going to be focusing on in today's lesson, because we're going to be looking at which materials are waterproof and water resistant. Okay children, so as I was explaining on the last slide, materials have different properties. Here are some other properties that you might explore when you're talking about or describing different materials, okay? Okay children, let's explore. I would like you to follow the video link which is available on the PowerPoint there, and I'd like you to go and watch this short video clip about waterproof and water resistant materials, and then when you come back we can have a little bit of a discussion further about this, and we can play a little game. Now it is quite a funny video, so I'm sure that you are going to enjoy it. So go ahead and follow the link now, and then join me back here for the next part of our lesson. Okay, so what did we learn from the video? Well, we should have learned all about waterproof and water resistant. Now, here's my definitions. What does the word waterproof actually mean? Well, the word waterproof means that something is impervious to water, and all this means is water cannot get through it. So impervious just means that water cannot pass through that material, okay? So if something's waterproof, no water can pass through it. Water resistant, on the other hand, means that some water can get through it, but it doesn't get through it easily. And it means that if the object gets a bit of water on it, or the material has a little bit of water on it, then it won't break. Okay, so if we think about kitchen roll, sometimes we can use kitchen roll to mop up spillages in our kitchen or wherever, and if a little bit of water gets on it, then it's fine, but if too much water gets on it, then it will start to break. Okay, so we've just got to think about the idea of waterproof and water resistant. Okay, even with water resistant, you might find that coats that aren't quite waterproof but they're water resistant means that some water can get in, and that's why your coat remains a little bit wet, but it doesn't mean that it will break if water gets on it. Okay, so some people's coats are water resistant, but if you are wearing, say, a rain mac, for example, that would be waterproof because no water can get in it whatsoever, and usually the water just slides off the side, and then when you get inside, your coat is dry. Okay children, I thought we could now play a little game. What I would like you to do is, in a minute, I'm going to be showing you some little images of different items. I would like you to think about what each item is made from and whether it is waterproof, which means no water can pass through it at all, or whether it is water resistant, which means that a little bit of water can go through it. Okay, so let's have a little go. Now, I'll show you each of the images as they pass through, and I'd just like you to maybe have a little pause of the video where you can discuss each item, or you might just want to say it out loud as it goes through the slides. Okay, let's go. Okay children, I hope you had fun identifying whether the items were waterproof or water resistant. You may have noticed that some of the items fell into both categories. For example, the rubber duck was both, not the rubber duck, the plaster was both waterproof and water resistant as well, because you can get some plasters that are made from a waterproof material and some that are made from a more fabric material. Okay, so you might have found that some of them fell into both categories. Okay, now what I would like you to do is take a look at the item that I've got on the screen for you now. First of all, I'd like you to think about what the item is, and then whether it is waterproof or water resistant. Then tell me how you know. So you might want to have a little pause of the video and talk to whoever's around you about this, or you could just say it out loud now. Okay, so this item is obviously an umbrella, and if we were at school we would be demonstrating this. We would get you all stood under an umbrella and pour some water over the top of you. Now, do you think that the water would come through the umbrella and make you all wet, or would it trickle off down the sides and you would remain dry? Excellent. It would trickle off and you would remain dry. This is because it is made from a waterproof material, okay? So in the next few slides, this may help you with your chili challenge question today, okay? So hopefully you'll be able to remember that information and you'll be able to apply it to your chili challenge question when you come to do your main activity. Okay children, I'm now quickly going to explain the main activity to you. So the first part of the activity is to identify and write a definition or write an explanation of what we mean by waterproof and what we mean by water resistant. Now, my top tip for you is to maybe rewind and go back to the slide where I gave my definition of both waterproof and water resistant, and maybe you'll be able to magpie some of my ideas. Then underneath, just here, I'll point it out for you now. Just here, I would like you, let me see, try out again. Just here, I would like you to name me 3 materials, not objects, just materials that are waterproof. So when we're talking about materials, we're talking about glass, plastic, cardboard, all of those things that we talked about at the very beginning when we did our review. I would like you to write 3 that are waterproof. I'm going to give you your first one now, so you've only got to find 2, okay? So one item which is waterproof is glass. So that could be one of the things that you would write for one of your materials that are waterproof, okay? Then the next part of your sheet is asking you to write 3 or name 3 objects that are waterproof as well. So objects might include just everyday things that you've got around your home. So it might be your window, for example. It could be some tin foil. It could be a toy, maybe a piece of clothing that you've got at home. So I would like you, or at school even, I would like you to name 3 objects that are waterproof. I'm going to give you your first one now, so you can magpie one of my ideas and then you'll only have 2 to find, or you can think of 3 of your own. Mine is going to match my material, and remember I chose glass, so my object is a window, okay? So remember, you're writing 3 materials first and then you're writing 3 objects second, okay? Then down at the bottom, you've got your chili challenge where you're going to be explaining why the little creature or the little animal does not get wet from the rain, okay? So I hope you get on okay with today's science activity, and I look forward to seeing your work later on. Now, next week is very exciting, children, because we are going to be completing our own experiments, okay? So we're going to be testing whether all of these materials are waterproof or not. So for next week's lesson, you will need to try and find some or all of these materials so that you'll be able to test out your ideas. And before next week, maybe you'd like to have a little guess or an estimate as to whether you think that these items are going to be waterproof or not, okay? So I'm really looking forward to next week and also to receiving your work today. As always, if you need any help or support, we are available on Teams. Have fun, everybody, and I will see you later on. Bye-bye for now.